Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another video here on the channel. This, as you can obviously tell at this point, is a Sims 4 speed build. So this is actually in San Mashudo. It is one of the lots that is on top of the building. It was originally, I don't remember the full name of it. It may actually still maybe on the screen there. I know it was something lounge. Maybe Stargazer Lounge? Was that what it was called? But I'm sort of in the process of slowly making all the builds for the most part that are in my main save builds that I have done. So I decided the Stargazer Lounge was gonna get a little update here. And I do end up calling it something else after a while. And when I was creating this, as the time you're seeing this, Get Famous probably is out. But I originally was creating this and hoping to make the third level there like a VIP section. Like, I don't know how it's gonna work just yet in Get Famous, but making like a VIP section that's more for like higher up celebrities or something like that. But while I was building it and things like that, I changed my mind. I still might could go back in and add that little option there and give that VIP section a chance. But with the current items and the current stuff in the game, I figured it was just gonna be extra space that I didn't really have anything to put up there and do with just yet. So I did decide to get rid of it. I might go back and, like I said, go back and actually change it. But I did create this lot with two things in mind. It was a lounge before. I personally don't really care for lounges as much. They're nice to have like one or two, like if you have all the worlds, that is. It's nice to have like one or two chilling around. And, I mean, even if you didn't have all the worlds, I'd still just have one or two, but... So it's nice to have that option, but I don't necessarily like the lounge themselves. Me, personally, for my style of, like, gameplay... right here you might be noticing I'm fixating on these columns a lot. I actually tweeted out over on Twitter to ask you guys which ones y'all thought. And I waited a while before I came back to the build, so that was me asking y'all what y'all think was better. So this was y'all's choice of columns out of the ones I had. So just a little quick FYI on that case. But anyway, back to what I was saying. With the lounge and my style of gameplay, to me personally, like, I like having possibly a place that elders can go and, like, have them do something and, you know, give them something to do that others won't be there necessarily. But at the same time, like, me personally, when it comes to elders that I know in my life, half of the time they don't go out as much as the younger generations, and when they do, honestly, it's usually the most common ones is they go out to, like, churches and stores, and they go out to each other's houses. They don't normally, like, necessarily go out to a specific lot, so, all the time. But having that one or two lounges as an option for elders to go to, that's nice, but otherwise, I don't really like it because, like, I want to go to a lounge, and really a lounge could be for elders or young adults or adults. But in The Sims, when you go visit a lounge, you almost never see anyone that is not an elder. It is majority elders, at least in my game. That's how it seems to have been. So, that's why, like, I created this with two ways in mind. So I wrote down a list of all the stuff that you needed for a lounge, and I also wrote down all the stuff you needed for a bar, because out of all of them, a bar and a lounge usually have the most similarities, because there usually is a bar at a lounge, but a lounge is a little bit more chill, while the bar can have more of a party atmosphere sort of feeling going on. But so I made this build so that technically it can be a bar or it can be a lounge. Hence why I ended up calling it Sky High Bar and Lounge and Bar. Bar and lounge. That's what I ended up officially giving it its name. So it can be a bar or a lounge. So I think I upload it to the gallery as a bar because me personally, that's what I'm going to be using it as. So it is set as a bar, I think, by the time I upload it. But if you don't want it to use it as a bar and you actually do want to use it as a lounge, because it is created where the Stargazer Lounge was, and I know that's where it will for surely fit. If you want to actually still keep that area a lounge, you can do so by just switching it over, and all the requirements for a lounge will be already there, so you don't have to change anything. But also with that in mind, I did keep this trying to be able to be a relaxing and fun place to go, but you can also sort of have a little party or whatever if you wanted to. So it's got the mix of, literally the mix of both of them, of how they usually are in The Sims. A little bit of party, a little bit of relaxing, so on and so forth. But, I did really enjoy building this. I still haven't removed that very top piece, as you can tell. It took me a while to change my mind on that, but I did like trying to keep some of the elements from the Stargazer Lounge, because I would imagine that, you know, if you are switching in your game, that maybe the same person still owns this area, this business, but they're just wanting to update it a little bit or change a little bit of things, and I imagine it would have took a lot of work to build this on top of the skyscraper. But, so I wanted to keep some of the elements from that one, you know, having the pool, having sort of this area over top, because technically you couldn't go on top of it in the Stargazer Lounge, but, you know, it was very open to the city and stuff like that. There was only a few walls here and there that were actually showing anything, like covering anything, but for the most part it was very open. So I did want to keep that bottom part open, but I wanted to have also an indoor part, especially now that Seasons is implemented into the game. If you're wanting to still come and hang out, you necessarily, like, yeah, you can go here, and it might be like they might heat the pool and the pool will still feel fine, but at the same time you're gonna want somewhere to go inside as well if it is like a colder season, like winter or fall. I can't remember how cold San Myshuto gets in the fall or autumn, whichever you want to call it. So I'm not entirely sure how cold it gets in San Myshuto in autumn. I feel like it's not like super cold, but it's like it's not on par with like Forgotten Hollow and Brundleton Bay. I think those two get like the coldest, if my memory serves me correctly. But, you know, yeah, still, winter's still gonna probably snow. I think Oasis Springs is the only one that doesn't really get snow. Though I feel like now that we're getting a new world with Get Famous, I feel like Del Sol Valley, I don't think it's gonna snow as much. I think it's gonna have more similar weathers to Oasis Springs. It may not be, like, totally as, extreme when it comes to the heat into things of Oasis Springs. I still, from what I see, I think Oasis Springs still probably is going to be the hottest world out of all of them, but I think Del Sol Valley is going to be pretty close to how Oasis Springs weather is. But anyway, so yeah, that was that's why I took a few elements from the Stargazer Lounge and just added my own twist, basically. I really like how this one turned out. It is going to be up on the gallery once this video is live. It should already be up there or coming out very quickly after. But I do really love how this turned out. I do keep with mostly the blacks and whites. I feel like keeping the modern feel with like a little touch of color is nice for San Myshuto, because, which they have a lot of color because of the festivals and things like that. But a lot of the places that were already there, like the Stargazer Lounge, also seemed a little bit more put together. That's not exactly the word. I don't know how I'm trying to explain this, but you know, like, more elegant, nicer, not necessarily nicer, but I don't know how. But I have it in my head. I'm horrible at explaining things sometimes. But yeah, I did keep with more of like the blacks and whites. It seems to be a theme that I'm doing lately. But my colors that I chose to add the most of is purple and yellow, which are complementary colors. Some people, that's their most hated complementary colors. For whatever reason, some people think those two, like, even though they do complement each other, they think they're, like, really obnoxious together. I personally, that's my favorite of the complementary colors. I love purple and yellow together. I think it looks really great. Honestly, blue and orange are probably my least favorite out of the complementary ones. The only problem with red and green is that it reminds me of Christmas, which is not bad all in its own, but when it's not Christmas time and it's like March or May or June, July, you know, those sort of months, I don't really want to be thinking about Christmas every time I see like a build or a artwork or uh, like someone's decorating or whatever in the complementary colors of red and green all year round. So that's just me personally. But anyway, so I hope you do like how this build turns out. Down in this bottom part, you know, it's the pool. I got the bar down there. I don't think I put a bar at all upstairs. But there is the bar area down here. There's also going to be a dance area. There's going to be like some lounging areas. You can play chess down here. There's the hot tub eventually. And then upstairs, like I said, eventually I'll take that very top floor off. I don't think I've took it off yet still. But the upstairs part, just the one floor of upstairs part, I end up doing like a little kitchen area. Obviously, you know, you're not going to have someone actually physically there cooking, but I was thinking if you ended up having some sort of party there, I don't know if there's an option to have certain parties. I know some parties you can have out at other lots and some that you can't. And then there's also some that you have to already be at the lot to sort of be able to pick that one. I don't know, it's really strange. I hate that you can't have certain parties out at certain places. I can't remember which parties, but just in case, you know, for those instances that you can have parties at locations, there is a area for a chef to go cook, or if you just want to have a get together, you can have a sim easily go cook and for the group that is there hanging out together. So there's that option. So there's like some seating up there. There's like a nice fireplace to get all cozy at. There's also like a piano area for that's part of like the lounge requirements, I believe. So it's got a little mix of quite a few different things going on, but it's basically supposed to be a nice hangout spot. Not like, you probably won't be seeing teenagers as much here. I'm sure they'll still show up every once in a while trying to get the attention of some adults, especially some of the older teenagers, you know, the ones that are getting close to being an adult, but they're not quite there yet. But for the most part, you know, it's just a fun place for some adults to hang out. I mean, elders are still welcome to hang out here too, but I really doubt they're going to be hanging out as much. If they do, it's going to be like early in the morning, and then the young adults and adults start rolling in as the day goes on. But I hope you enjoy this build. If you want to go download it, look for the Sky High Bar and Lounge, or look for me for my name, which is Artistic Gamer 7. I will also put a hashtag of Artistic Gamer 7, so that is another way that you can go and find it. I'm gonna let music play for the rest of the video, but let me know how you think that this build turned out. Do you like it? Are you considering undownloading it for your own game? If you ever like download any of my builds and you like make a few adjustments or changes or something like that, feel free to tweet me or add the hashtag ArtisticGamer7 back on the gallery. I would love to see if y'all ever do anything with any of my builds and change it and see how y'all interpret it. Especially if like you change it to like a lounge, like you go more on the lounge side than the bar side. Some of the differences you might make, or maybe like your style is a little bit differently, but you like the layout, but you just want to change like some of the colors. So, you know, just let me know over on Twitter and such. But I'm going to go ahead and stop talking here. All of my social media information will be down in the description below, like my Twitter, which is probably the big one that you would like to follow. Also, all of my Sims 4 playlists will be down there as well. The build playlist is a good one to go check out because I do have a lot of builds that I'm actually currently editing and doing voiceovers for, so there is a lot of builds coming to the channel as well as adding them over onto my gallery. So keep an eye out for those, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the music!
free.